Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Roll call, please, Vicki.
Mr. Granado?
Oh,
Thanks, Mr. Harshman. All right, we're gonna start, roll call, please, Vicki, thank you.
Mr. Granado?
Here.
Mr. Harshman?
Here.
Mr. Lee?
Here.
Mr. Martray?
Here.
Mr. Martucci? Mr. Mongel? Mr. Panzella?
Here.
Mrs. Sangston?
Here.
And Mr. O'Malley?
here.
Vicki, can we give Mr. Mongel another opportunity? I believe he is here. Mr. Mongel?
Mr. Watson.
He may have himself muted.
He may.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mongel.
All right.
Okay, stand for a moment of silence and pledge allegiance. Thank you. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have no public comment tonight. We'll move straight to student service. Mrs. Sangston, can you hear us, please?
Yes. Revision to school calendar. Request approval of the following revisions to the 2019-2020 school calendar. Thursday, April 9th and Monday, April 13th, 2020 are now school student days. I so move.
Second.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. We have no public comment for non-agenda items. Does anybody have anything else?
I would like to make one announcement for the public and for the board. Today, we were notified through our federal programs with the actions of Dr. Jacob. We are notified that we will receive potentially, and this is our estimate amount, we will receive potentially from the federal government through the CARES Act, the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Stimulus Act. We will receive approximately $1.847 million based on our Title I fund allocation. That's to be used specifically for any activity authorized by ESSA, any activity authorized by IDEA, which is our Education of Individuals with Disability Act. Also purchasing of educational technology, providing mental health services and support, and planning and coordinating during long time closures, including due to the coronavirus pandemic. With that said, we also are continuing our application for Continuity of Education Equity Grant for both the entire district, and we are enabled to submit another grant separately for the Career and Technical Center. We plan to do both. Their due date is Friday, Good Friday at midnight, so we hope to have that done by Thursday. And I think that that's in recognition of the federal government of what our entire community is going through, and in recognition of the work that was put forth by the district leading up to the granting of that potential allocation of $1.847 million. And I wanted to make the board and public aware we received that notification in the afternoon today. Thank you.
Great. Just a question there. Do you have a timeline when that may?
I asked, I said, when will we get the funds, when will it be finalized? 8.47, we don't know yet. So, I wanted to know when it would be deposited.
Is that an additional amount or is that a amount?
It's additional.
Additional.
Yeah, it's in recognition purely of this stimulus act that was passed by the federal government. So it's our one of the several trillion dollar stimulus act. This is our 1.847 allocation based on need, based on our title population, our title students, and our title allocation. So title, we get roughly $2 million. We're gonna get 1.847 because of the CARES Act,
Plus the 2 million.
plus the 2 million.
And is it tied to certain things?
It's identified, CARES Act include, but aren't limited to some of those bulleted items that I read earlier.
Very good. Thank you.
Any other board members, any questions?
Yeah, I have something to bring up. How are we doing on our, furlough letters? I think the deadline's this Friday, is it not? I think if we take the last day of school and we go back, I think the deadline for furlough letters would be Friday. Assignment.
It's based on when you pass your budget. It's based on when, you know, our last possible day to pass the budget is June 30th. We have a board meeting prior to that, I'd have to look, June 24th, I believe, and it's based on 60 days before that date.
Are we gonna get an extension on the budget?
There's talk of that, there's nothing been finalized from the Commonwealth. There's been some discussion of that, but nothing has been finalized. 20,
Well,
4th, 22nd.
I think you have a problem because if they extended the budget, that doesn't mean that the teachers still need their assignments by a certain time. Because they would extend the budget to the end of the year, we wouldn't have to give anybody an assignment, right?
Right.
there's a law provision and a contract provision. Yeah, there's a contractual provision that they get before the last day of school. Our last day of school now, with passing of that calendar earlier in this board meeting, will now be June 10th is the last student day, the last teacher day is June 11th. So
Right.
they have to receive their assignments prior to that.
So that would be, if we went back from that, the last speech day would be about this Friday coming up. And what I'm saying is, are we going to do this or we're not? I mean, there's a motion on the, we made a motion, it was passed, 7-1, 8-1, whatever it was. And, if not, I'm gonna make a motion right now. And, I tell you what, I'll just make the motion anyhow. I'll make a motion that we send furlough letters out to the bottom 3 teachers in every department that we have in all the schools.
Second.
Oh, okay. Mr. Lake has made a motion. Vicky, did you get that?
Yes, I'm just not sure who seconded that.
Mr.
That was
Mongeau.
me.
Mr. Mongeau.
Okay. So sending furlough to the bottom 3 teachers of each department.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was seconded by Mr. Montiel, made by Mr. Lake.
Got it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Anything else from anybody?
Do we need to do a roll call?
I'm sorry,
Roll call.
do we have a no?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. Roll call, please.
Okay, Mr. Granado?
Yes.
Mr. Griffin?
No.
Mr. Lake?
Yes.
Mr. Martre?
Yes.
I believe Mr. Martucci is still absent, correct?
Correct.
Okay, Mr. Mongeau?
Yes.
Mr. Panzella?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Panzella?
Yes.
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 Mrs. Sexton?
Yes.
And Mr. Romano?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, do we have anything else?
Yeah, the only thing is, Mike, I should put a timeline on that. We don't want to get into trouble, so I'd like to have that done before this Friday. So they have the letters by Friday, I believe. As long as we don't, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't want to get into a part where we go ahead and send the letters out and then we wait and send the letters out to the 1st of May or something and everybody says, oh, it's too late now. We already had to have it like we did last year. It's too late. We missed that, I want these done as soon as possible.
I think he said that in his motion.
And I should have made that part of my motion.
Mrs. McWilliams, can you read back the motion? There's some conversation that it was part of the motion.
Sure. We have request approval to send furlough notices to the bottom 3 teachers of each department.
Okay, Mr. Lake, there was nothing there. I'll refer to the solicitor. Can we revote that motion, amend it, or should we make a separate motion?
Make a separate motion.
Make a separate. Mr. Lake, would you like to make a separate motion on the timeline?
Yes, no problem. I
Okay,
want to make sure that all these letters are sent out, and the administration knows better than I do, but if the deadline is this Friday, then it'll be out before this Friday, or any time that they know when the deadline is, it'll be sent out, 3 or 4 days before the deadline is. Sent out and received
The deadline.
before the deadline.
let's,
Better put through.
The deadline by law is 60 days before the passing of your final budget, but.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Vicky. Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yes. This is Dan. I was on the line the whole time.
okay, I apologize.
No, we couldn't hear you.
Yeah, I voted yes for your motion, Kevin. I was on the phone here. I was trying to email or text out to say nothing on here.
All right. And I made another one, Dan.
Sorry, Dan.
I want to understand, whatever way you think I should word it, you guys, I mean, I can word it just that way. I will make sure that they have the furloughs in their hand before our last day of deadline, whatever that is. I want to make sure that they have them in there. And I'm directing you guys as administrators to make sure that happens.
So that was my.
Mr. Grinaldo. Mr. Grinaldo, are you there?
Yes.
Mr. Grinaldo?
Vicky,
Yes.
this is Dan. I just want to make sure you got my vote.
Yes, I went ahead. Right, I went ahead and put you in as a yes. Thank you.
Mr.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
Mr. Martucci, did you vote on the calendar as well? Did you vote on the calendar one as well?
Yes, sir. I voted yes on both motions.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Mr. Grinaldo?
Yeah.
You're more familiar with the contract. Can you enlighten us any on how that motion should be, that Kevin is asking to be made?
We missed it last year.
I'm sorry, I was muted, I didn't hear what you said.
Mr. Lake wants to make a motion to meet the timeline. Do you know what's in the contract, how the contract says on furlough letters?
I do not recall, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine.
The furlough letters are based on law. They're based on 60 days before the passing of the final budget. So if we intend to pass the final budget on the 24th, you back up 60 days from that.
Okay.
Assignment letters are contractual. Assignment letters are based on the last day of school.
Okay, so
So
It's 60 days prior to the last day of school, right?
Mrs. Guggenauer, could you clarify any of that for me, please? Or Mrs. Grinnell, I'm sorry, Mrs. Grinnell, I didn't see you.
Mr. Bradley, this is Ms. Kokenauer. If you are furloughing based on economic reasons according to Act 55, furlough notices must be sent 60 days prior to the adoption of the final budget.
So
If you are furloughed based on
if,
non-economic reasons, then it's June 1st or the last day of school.
That's law.
All right, so that's why the last day of school was like on the 10th or 11th. They have to be out
You're right.
and delivered before this Friday, because it's not definitely
It's not
economic
60
reasons.
days.
It's other
That's what she just said.
reasons, because we can't get assignments
That's
out.
what
We
she
have
just said.
to accept it. We couldn't do that.
yeah,
If they gave us an extension, we wouldn't have had to do that.
Amy,
So we're basing this on, they have to be out by this Friday. And I think one of them spelled out some more.
no, no.
Mrs.
non-
Guggenauer,
Make that a motion.
Mrs. Guggenauer, can you clarify again Act 55?
I'm sorry, I keep stressing this, according to Act 55, for economic reasons, you have 60 days prior to the adoption of the final budget. It has nothing to do with the last day of school. It's the adoption of the final budget, which is the last week in June. So we have until April 24th to get economic furlough letters out.
But what did she say on the second?
Then we have until June 1st to get those out if they're not economic.
June 10th.
Well, yeah, whichever comes last, June 1st for the last teacher day.
Why don't we just get them out anyway? Get them out as soon as possible.
Yeah. Mail them out tomorrow. How about that? Then we won't have to worry about nothing. Remember the friend.
Yeah.
I'll put that in my motion. I want the further letters to the bottom three of every department mailed out tomorrow. And I so move.
Second.
I just don't know if that's.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any questions on Mr. Lake's motion?
Are you in the time to do that? I mean,
How you gonna do it? Yeah, they're trying to get the furlough letters out. We have until June.
I want them done tomorrow.
Yeah, the thing of it is, you're gonna piss a lot of people off.
Who are we gonna piss off, Paul?
Your younger teachers that you have in there, the ones that we just hired.
The ones that's working for the union wouldn't give us a little extension to make sure we get our assignments straight, right? We're gonna piss those people off?
No, you're gonna piss them off because they're all got more seniority than anybody. And it was
They
not
still work for the union.
it was
It
not
wasn't for union. No.
wasn't
It wasn't our union that did that. It wasn't our union that did that. Our union is in favor of giving us an extension, our local representation. If they were in favor of giving us an extension, this comes for they pay union dues and they pay into the international, their headquarters, whatever you call it. They're the ones that told us they're not giving us no extension. They left us with no other resources to do what we're doing. And you're the only one that feels the way you do. I mean, it's gonna be 8-1.
Yeah, I know, but it's not anyways.
Everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
all these people will be back to work anyways.
That's,
Yes, if we put that letter out there, they're gonna say, what's my chances? You know, are we gonna say, oh, we're just sending those letters out just for the hell of it.
We're sending those letters out so we can give teachers assignments and put them where we know once the scheduling comes in where we can put them. That's why we're doing it. We're not doing it to punish anybody, to lay people up. We're doing it so we can take care of ourselves, so we don't end up with 13 super stuff where we have 13 teachers and only have 2 kids in the classroom. That's why we're doing it.
Well, then what are we gonna do with the extra teachers?
We're not gonna have extra.
You're gonna have extra teachers. If one teacher is teaching 2 kids, you're gonna put those 2 kids somewhere else. What are you gonna do with that teacher?
I don't think nobody's getting laid off. This was just a sequence that we were to follow. I think we passed this 2 weeks ago. I think that's all we're doing is just basically putting a date on it. I mean, we went through this and it's just, no one's gonna really be let go. It's just that what we have to do, the process, we're just basically saving the process and getting us some time due to the circumstances, I think is what we were doing.
Your young teachers would have been in the mix. If you took the 80 youngest and put them in there, they'd be in the mix anyhow. So it doesn't make any difference by departments. It could be some of your 3 youngest in the departments, could be some of your older teachers. So this is what we did it, why I did it this way. It could be some of your older teachers in the department. They could have 6, 7, 8 years in 10 years. But they're gonna get the furlough. Yeah, right, exactly. They're gonna get the furlough.
And what are they gonna do if we can't find a spot for them?
I don't think your spots are gonna move, Paul. I think it's to help with the bidding process is what everybody said. It's so that,
Exactly.
you know, to give everybody some more time.
There's still a motion on the floor right now.
yes. Board Secretary, do you have the motion? You okay with it?
I do. I have, the second motion motion to send these out, by Friday?
Yes, okay,
Tomorrow.
tomorrow.
I would just ask for some lenience on that, Mr. Lake. I mean, I'm asking.
As long as they have us on Friday, if Friday could be our last day, they have to have them, they better have them in their hands by Friday,
there's-
that's all I'm telling you. I don't care if they're handled, how you wanna do it, just so they have them in their hands by Friday.
Can I ask the urgency of Friday, because Friday isn't law or contract?
That's his motion.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Uh,
Opposed?
no,
Roll call, please.
Mr. Granado? Mr. Granado?
Yes, we got you, Mr. Grimaldo.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Mr. Harshman?
no,
Mr. Lake?
Yes.
Mr. Martre?
Yes.
Mr. Marcusi?
Yes.
Mr. Mongeau?
yes,
Mr. Panzella?
Yes.
Mrs. Sangston?
Yes.
And Mr. O'Mac?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, anything else?
Yeah, just before we adjourn, the families and our students and our staff will be receiving a video from me this evening. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank the board. The board has put in numerous hours since March 13th, since we've had an announcement of school closure. And I want to thank our community, our students, our teachers, our support staff, our cafeteria staff, everyone from our custodians, our maintenance that really responded in light of this COVID-19 crisis that we're in. And I'm appreciative. I know that our students are receiving the best education we can under the circumstances. Thank you.
I agree. Okay, with that, nothing else, a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
We have a motion to adjourn. Thank you. Thank you.